What's up guys, and welcome to another episode of The Block is Hot. Today is Monday, which means we are going over the top upcoming CNFT mints of the week. Before I start diving into these projects, I just want to stress here guys that this isn't financial advice. I am not Jesus himself. Jesus had much better hair than I did, and yeah, this is just a way to point you guys in a direction to projects that I think have potential. I'm not necessarily minting all of these, but I think that these are a step above the rest when I was going through all the different projects releasing. But without further ado guys, let's get into it. Project number one guys is Mystic Monks, dropping on March 3rd. They're actually dropping 2,222 of these guys with a 42 ADA price. So what exactly are Mystic Monks? Well, Mystic Monks are a collection of 8,888 of these trippy, really cool looking NFTs that are going to be releasing in 4 different waves over the next several months. The entire emphasis of this project is showcasing really cool art as well as creating a platform for other artists to get involved in the NFT space. I think this art actually looks super good guys. Like look at all the different details and the layers and the colors and the backgrounds. Like it looks like this whole trippy psychedelic looking mystic monk thing, and I actually really like that. I haven't seen too many projects do this sort of style, especially on Cardano, and this could be a situation very similar to Jarheads where just a bunch of people buy this project simply for the art and nothing else. The rest of the website is simple but clean and very informative. It has all the information we need, which I like a lot. I feel like so many different websites out there don't give me the information I need, and it forces me to deep dive into Discord announcements, which is never ideal. You want investors to be able to get a snapshot really quickly and be able to get all the information they have, so I like how they at least have that all listed. They also show their roadmap down here, and one of the big things about this project, guys, is that they are splitting their supply into 4 different drops. So in this drop, we're going to have 2,222, and then over the next several months, they're going to release the remaining supply. The main emphasis of the roadmap, guys, is really helping out the world as well as other artists. So the big thing they're doing is they're actually having a community artist fund, which is super dope. Like they're taking 5% of all the money made from this project, and they're going to use that money to help other artists in the space get started, which is a huge positive. They have a community fund, they're going to do a merch store, they're going to do different donations. Overall, just a super wholesome project, and I think what they're doing is really important. I mean, think of it this way, guys. I think when NFTs first started, it was all about art, like making dope art and giving money back to artists, which most of the time artists didn't make that much money. So then all of a sudden you had a way for artists to use their creativity in a digital sense and finally make a profit from it. I mean, think about it. Before NFTs, someone could simply, save your JPEG, and then all of a sudden it doesn't even matter. So the fact that NFTs came about, it pretty much gave a way for these digital artists to actually make a career for themselves. And I think that even though I'm more of a utility guy when it comes to NFTs, I think that there's definitely a space just for art. And I think that's what happened with Jarheads, and I think a lot of people buying this sort of NFT project are people that are holding, which usually means that there's less on the aftermarket and that prices do better. Now, I don't necessarily know how well this project is going to do, but I wanted to emphasize this. Even though most of us care about utility and hype and all of these things, there is still a tremendous market for these early OG pieces of art that are being built on this ecosystem, very similar to Jarheads. The artist of this project is doxed. His name is Jake I with a 3 in it, something like that, right? But he looks super cool. He looks like that dude you randomly do shrooms with in the park and have some deep conversations with. Looks like I would be totally down to do an interview with this guy. I like his art, I like his style, I like what he stands for. He just seems like a cool dude, and I think very similar to Jarheads, his kind of story can take off, and I think all it takes is like one good interview with someone. So if you're listening, Jake, I would totally be down to interview you. I like your art and I like what you're doing in the community. The team also does a really good job marketing. They have 1,550 followers, and they're only dropping 2,222 of these guys, and it's only about like 42 ADA, right? So they have a very good price to follower to mint ratio, and I'm probably going to be minting a couple of these just as a long-term hold. Now, don't buy this if you're expecting a quick flip. This might be a slower sellout, but like I said, I think that this art could really take off. I mean, look at this. Like, this is super cool. The whole trippy plants, Illuminati, rainbow, eye watching smiley face thing. I mean, this is just an incredible amount of detail that went into the background. Just super impressed with this. And if you look here, guys, they even have like Kermit the Frog with a Jedi lightsaber, kind of like a Pikachu looking monk. I don't know what that is. They have the Cookie Monster looking thing. I just really like these. I really like these. That's all I'm going to say. I really like the art, and I'm going to be buying some just as a long-term hold. Don't buy this if you're trying to quick flip. It could be a slow sellout. But on to the next project. The next project on our list is AdaZoo, and they are launching 5,000 of their Lacy NFTs on March 4th. Now, I don't know exactly what the price is. I couldn't find it on the website, and the guys in the Discord haven't responded back to me yet, so that is a question mark as of now. So what exactly is AdaZoo? Well, AdaZoo is going to be one of the first play-to-earn games on the Cardano blockchain. Now, this is a company or a project that has actually been out for a while. I remember back in September, I had saw them on an infographic of different projects that would be launching in this ecosystem. What they're trying to do is they're trying to make a Pokemon-styled game on the Cardano blockchain. They're going to be releasing these 5,000 OG Lacies, which are kind of like their Pokemon. And in this game, you're going to be able to battle with these guys. You're going to be able to level them up. You're going to be able to catch some in the wild, and you're going to be able to make money throughout this whole entire process. It's actually super cool, and they're even going to have land that's eventually for sale, and in that land, you're going to make a percentage whenever someone catches a wild Lacy on your property, which is cool, right? So for example, if you own a piece of land, not only can you build stuff on it, but whenever someone goes on your land and catches a wild Lacy, now all of a sudden you're going to make a percentage of that mint or that transaction fee for them catching that wild Lacy. So super cool stuff. I like the idea of this, and I know their team has been working on it for a while now. Now, what is the importance of these early Lacies, and what is exactly the roadmap of this? Well, this is essentially how it's going to work, guys. There's going to be 5,000 of these OG Lacies. They're not going to have increased stats as far as battling because they didn't want it to be unfair for everyone else. But the big thing that's going to happen with this is that you're going to get access to their game that's releasing on the 3rd of April. So like I said, they have been working on this for a while. They have been doing a lot of the work on the back end, so the game is about to come out. If you have one of these OG Lacies, you're going to be able to get into this game and you're going to start being able to get these wild Lacies. Now, you can then sell these wild Lacies to other people that want to play this play to earn game. Now, what they're doing is super cool as far as not devaluing their Lacies. What happens is every time someone catches a wild Lacy, the price of actually being able to catch that Lacy goes up. So for example, let's say I go out on someone's piece of land, I see a wild Lacy, I battle that wild Lacy, and now I catch that wild Lacy. In order to catch that wild Lacy, maybe it had cost 3 ADA, right? Maybe it just cost 3 ADA. And then what happens is I can go on the marketplace, I can sell that Lacy, someone else is going to come into the game and they're going to buy it so they can play the game and they can get wild Lacies. Well, to make sure that supply doesn't go too crazy, they're actually increasing the price of each wild Lacy every single time you catch one and you mint one. So maybe the first one you get might cost you 3 ADA, and then the second one might cost you 10 ADA, and then the third one might cost you 15 ADA, right? And then that way it doesn't absolutely flood the market with all these Lacies simply because wild Lacies are unlimited in number. But the really cool thing about this is also the person who owned the land that I was on. So for example, if I went on their piece of land and I caught a wild Lacy for 10 ADA, maybe 2 or 3 ADA goes back to the person that owned the land. I think that's really cool, and I think that's a very special utility because now your land is actually generating you money over time through these different transactions rather than it just sitting there and you hoping in the future that it takes off. I really like the concept of a play to earn game, and I like how they're one of the first games that are actually going to be coming out in this ecosystem. Like I said, guys, they've been working on this for a long time, and their team is all docs, which gives me a lot more confidence as well as far as them actually delivering on their promises. AdaZoo has a decent following of about 2,700 followers, and they are getting a decent amount of engagement on their post, not as much as I would like. One of the things that does worry me about this project is that when I was in the Discord, I didn't really see too many people talking. It didn't really seem like an active Discord, which kind of scares me since the drop is so soon. You would think a lot more people are hyped up about this project. I'm personally staying away from the mint just because we don't even know how much it cost, and it's like literally less than a week away. So it kind of blows my mind that we don't even how much it's going to be yet. The reason I'm taking a step back here is I don't know how many people are actually looking at this project. I think there's going to be a lot more hype nearing up to the game release, and maybe I'll get one near then to not only capitalize on the gains, but also I can play the game and get those wild lacies. I'm not going to load up on a bunch of these guys because the wild lacies are going to have the exact same stats as far as battling ability. So I'll probably just get one and then hope I can get a decent amount of these wild lacies and start flipping those to people that want to get into the game and that they can't afford an OG one. Now the OG ones are going to have different benefits, but they haven't really been super clear to what they are yet. And that's why I think getting one of these and just playing the game closer to the drop is probably the best strategy. The next project on our list, and the one I'm most bullish on, is also releasing on March 4th, and that is Cardano Croc's Club. 7,700 of them are reserved for whitelist or people that already own a Croc, and it's going to cost 50 ADA on the 3rd of March. The rest, which is 2,300, are going to be for the public, and they're going to cost 100 ADA each. One of the best indicators of whether or not a project is going to do well is if they've actually already released a project, and they have released a project, and it is doing exceptionally well. They're going for about 350 ADA, which has been a huge run up in this past week. I have held a couple of these around the 250 ADA mark for a long time now. This team is doing a lot of big things. They have this C4 token that you can stake. There's going to be games. There's going to be a swamp. There's going to be breeding in the future. And right now, I think these radioactive crocs are going to do exceptionally well, especially since we're only going to pay 50 ADA if you already own a croc and 100 ADA if you don't. These radioactive crocs actually look really cool. I think the artwork looks really nice. And if you scroll up here, guys, they have a couple more posts. This one has a ton of different eyeballs. If you scroll up a little bit more, this guy has like this random jello looking snake around it. I mean, I think they look really great. They don't have a ton of layers or different accessories per se, but I think the layers that they do have look really nice, and I think that this piece of art does stand out. There's two major reasons I do like this project a lot. First reason, they have 11,000 followers, which is honestly insane, guys. Like, there aren't many CNFT projects out there that have really had that level of success as far as people following them. The second thing I really like about this project is just their roadmap and the utility they're adding. They are doing so much, guys. They have these radioactive crocs coming out. They have their C4 token that you can already stake, by the way, and get different rewards and incentives from, which is cool. A lot of projects are on the promising stage when it comes to the actual utility. So I like how they have that. They have this Croc Arcade. They have poker that they do all the time in their Discord. They're going to have this swamp metaverse in the future. They have all of these different merches and communities, and they have a game incubator, and they have breeding coming in the future. I mean, it's just insane the amount of stuff they're doing, and I think that this project is actually going to do really well in the long term, and that's why I haven't sold any of my Crocs. I mean, most of the time, guys, when we have a run-up before a big release like this, I'll simply sell my Croc before the hype and then just sell it, right? So right now there's a bunch of hype and a lot of people are buying it in order to get a part of this whitelisting. This is usually the time I sell it. Now, I think that these are going to have a pullback after the release, but I think the radioactive croc is going to make up for a lot of that pullback versus me just taking profit right now. So overall, like this project, like what they're doing. I'm personally going to be minting as many as I can. I'm definitely going to be minting the 2 for 50 ADA, and then in the public, I'm going to see how many I can get. But overall, good project. The next project on our list, guys, is launching on March 5th, and that is MetaDams. They're releasing 6,432 pieces of land, and it is going to cost 75 ADA each. MetaDams is another metaverse project, and they are actually doing something I have never seen before, which is a play-to-stake metaverse on Cardano. So how exactly does this play-to-stake work? Well, guys, instead of taking your ADA and getting 5% on it from some sort of random pool, you can instead stake your ADA with MetaDams. And MetaDams actually doesn't take any of your money or profit from your delegations, which is nice. Now, you're going to be able to get at least 4.5% from staking it in this pool. But the cool thing is that there are different things you can do in this game to actually increase that percentage, so you're actually getting a lot more ADA. And they're saying that you can actually get up to twice as much ADA. So instead of 5% that you'd usually get from these different pools, maybe now you're able to get 10%. The way you do this is by owning land and adding these different buildings and utilities to your land. So for example, dam reactor. If you're staking 500 ADA, you are then able to place this dam reactor on your land. You are then going to supply that dam reactor with water and wood from actually playing the game and getting the different resources. And then your return on your asset for that dam reactor is going to be an additional 3.6%. There are a lot of different buildings that you can have on your piece of land. So for example, nuclear reactors, they require uranium instead of water and wood. So maybe if you have a lot of uranium, you build one of these guys. And then once again, if you're staking 1,000 ADA, you are then able to get another 3.8%. So super cool stuff with this. I expect that you can make money not only from the land, but you can make money from making these different investments, as well as playing the game to actually, run these different buildings and get you an increased return on your investment as well. Now, what's really cool with this project is that your return on your investment is in ADA. It's not in some random utility token that may or may not go up or down because they might not have a lot of utility. Like, you're actually getting this money in ADA, which is super cool. There's also going to be a lot of different other factors that go into this and play into the strategy, which is super cool. So for example, guys, collecting resources is one of the core gameplay features of MetaDams. The only way of exploiting energy in MetaDams leading to the ADA premium generation is through the collecting and burning of resources. A lot of in-game resources can be used, such as wood, uranium, wind, water, sand, etc. So a lot of the strategy is going to be like, okay, what resources do I get at this point in time to really make the most money in this and compete with the other people playing this game? It then says the more resources you collect and burn, the more ADA you generate and earn. However, there are more ways to optimize your rewards. Maintenance of power sources and in-game dynamics such as weather can be leveraged to maximize your ADA rewards too. This is really cool. It's really thought out, and I can tell they spent a lot of time on making this. So for example, guys, maybe it's really windy in MetaDams today, and these wind turbines are going to generate a lot more money and resources than something like a dam reactor. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe there's like some sort of, volcano eruption and all of a sudden there's not a lot of wood available. So maybe a dam reactor isn't a good play, but maybe you can build some nuclear weapons, right? So I like how they thought all this through. I think the website looks clean. I think the concept is good. And I expect this project to do well in the long run just because the amount of time and effort they've put into it. I also like how they're only releasing about 6,000 plots of land and how there's only going to be 28,000 plots of land made in its totality. I think that's a pretty small number, and I like how you're already seeing a lot of the stuff made in this game. Their team is also doxed, and I say doxed because it just has their first name and a couple pictures of white dudes, and you have no idea if that's actually them or not. But that doesn't really matter because they have over 5,000 Twitter followers, which is a lot of followers for the amount of supply they're releasing. And I expect these to do pretty well in the short term and the long term. I'll probably just go for one or two of these and just hold it for the long term and see how they do. I do like how they've already released a lot of different stuff in their roadmap and their white paper and a lot of the art and a little bit of their gameplay as well. So I can tell they're not just capping and that they are, in fact, actually going to be delivering on a lot of these different things. The next project on our list today is Nftyworld, and they are also releasing on March 5th. They are releasing 8,800 of their Nifties, and they are going to cost 60 ADA each. First things first, guys, this website looks absolutely incredible. I mean, how many websites out there have you seen that look this good and really fit into the art of what this project is doing? I mean, I was just blown away as I was going through this. They have their whole mission statement. Hey, there's going to be 8,800 of these. You're going to be able to roam around. This says 45 ADA. That is for the pre-sale. It will be 60 ADA for the people in the public. There's over 250 unique traits, which is a ton, and I personally think these look really good. I haven't seen an art style like this before, and they really stand out. I mean, you have a gladiator Nifty, you have a chef one, you have a Marco Polo looking one. I mean, you have like this one with this gas paint mask thing. I mean, a maid one, Hawaii one. I mean, these just look really good. It really stands out, and I think the art really showcases this project. I mean, this is a situation where I think the art alone is going to carry them, and I think just the professionalism of their website shows a lot about the skills and expertise of this team. As far as utility goes, they are going to be distributing some of their royalties. They're calling it rebates, and they're going to be different airdrops to future launches as well. They're also going to be making a DAO and a play-to-earn game, as well as a staking option, which is really cool. I like how they're providing different utility and they aren't just art. Now, as I said earlier, sometimes art by itself does really well, but whenever you can add utility, that is just going to be a big bonus. So I like to see that they have that planned out. They also have this beautiful, cleanly laid out roadmap. I mean, the art, I mean, this is just super nice, guys. Like, I feel like I'm getting a 5-star treatment at some sort of resort right now. As someone that goes over a ton of crappy projects, I mean, dude, like, this is, oh, you know, it's just so nice to see something like this. I mean, these guys are professionals at what they do. I mean, look at the texture of the different things. This just goes to show how much time they've put into something. I really like websites because it's like, this is basically demonstrating whether or not your standards are high enough for me. Like, if you have a good website, I'm like, okay, you know, they took their time with it. They're methodical. They have good expertise. They have good skills. I mean, this just looks great. Love it. The project also showcases their FAQ a little bit lower, and it answers a lot of the basic questions that a lot of people have. You can scroll through. Very nice feature. I love the way it looks. Now, their team is small with 2 people, but I don't really care too much about this because a lot of times developers are extremely expensive. So with this public sale, they're able to get a lot of money, and now they can pay other people to do some of the more complicated stuff, such as, you know, building a utility token and creating a DAO, etc., etc. The team does an incredible job marketing. They have almost 5,000 followers, and I really believe that they're going to do really well. I mean, just look at how great this art looks. I mean, this is very professional. The amount of engagement they're getting. Overall, love it. I think short term these are going to do good. I think they're going to sell out fast, and I think long term they're going to do good. This is one of those projects that I'll probably be holding most of them. If I'm able to get a decent amount for whatever reason, I might just sell 1 or 2 and take a few profits, but I think these are going to do really well. I'd be surprised if these bricked, just because of how unique the art is, how good they look, and the fact that they have everything cleanly laid out. They're good at marketing. I mean, this is overall just all thumbs up for me, and I'm going hard on this one. The last project on our list today, guys, is Chibidango Heroes Season 2. They are releasing 10,000 more of these heroes on March 6th for 50 ADA each. So what the heck are Chibidango Heroes? Well, Chibidango Heroes are part of a play-to-earn game that is going to be releasing on Cardano throughout the course of this year. With your heroes, you're going to be able to go on different quests and get different loot on the way. You're going to be able to go on expeditions where you can go to these different lands and find new mobs or new monsters and get better gear in the process. You're going to be able to get all of your Chibidango heroes together, and basically you're going to be able to fight these different bosses and get loot in this underworld kind of dungeon theme. There's going to be the whole village, which is the whole aspect of this. Like over here, for example, you have the arena where you're going to be able to battle other players. You're going to get rewards for doing that. Very cool stuff. They're building this whole MMORPG game that is supposed to release this year, which is big news, right? One thing I really like about this project is all of the different traits actually have a purpose. So a lot of times projects will have super rare traits, but they don't give you an added utility, so it's like, I mean, what's the point? I mean, I guess we're buying it because it's rare, right? Well, the cool thing is in this game, you're actually going to be able to get different perks and abilities based on the traits. So for example, you might be an adventurer, a caretaker, an alchemist, a tanner, based on what your traits are. Now, one of the big things that they care about in this game is hair. So for example, you know, these different rare hairs are going to have different epic bonuses that are only for these hairstyles. So one thing you'll notice, guys, is that there's no bald people up here. What is this hairist crap that you guys are doing? I'm crapping on this project just because of it. It's going to 0 and no one should buy any of these. I am selling all my Chibidango Heroes because of it. But jokes aside, they really should have a bald dude up here. Now, they also have these different rarities of their items like I was telling you about. Sometimes you can have a legendary item and they're going to give you different amounts of power. Maybe a common item is, you know, the weakest in the game. So overall, really cool. I like what they're doing, and if they're actually able to deliver on this stuff, I think that this project is going to go insane. And they even have crafting where you can upgrade your guys. They have the item market where you're going to be able to buy and sell stuff. They actually already have a market where you can buy and sell their heroes on their website, which is cool. And a lot of that money and fees goes to their treasury for other stuff rather than JPEG store. And you're also going to be able to earn their utility token through airdrops every single month and playing the game, which is really cool. Right now, we are dropping their season 2, which is coming out. It is 50 ADA, and how to get a part of the whitelist, which is where it's probably going to sell out, is just by owning one Season 1 hero. If you own one Season 1 hero, you're going to be able to get as many Season 2 as you want for that 50 ADA price, and then hopefully later in the year, you're going to be able to go on these adventures in quarter 2 and really start making some money on the play to earn aspect of this game. Their team is currently fully doxed and all of their profiles are on LinkedIn, which is a huge plus and makes me feel like they're actually going to be delivering on a lot of their promises. One fun fact about this project, guys, this was actually the first project that I ever minted on Cardano. Literally the first one. It was this one in Planet Pals. So this project has been around for a while. I don't know when I minted it, but it was probably in September or before September, maybe even August. I don't know when these came out. Someone can fact check it, but this was the first project and I know they've been around for a while. I was actually able to buy 50 of these guys for 15 ADA each. I put 5 orders in, 10 at a time for 15 ADA, and I've just been holding most of them. So I still believe I have over 40 of these guys left, and it's pretty crazy to see that they're at 73 ADA now. Now here's my one worry with this release. They're costing for Season 2 50 ADA. And what you guys may or may not know is that these Season 1s were under 50 ADA when they announced that. And I think the whole reason that these have gone up in price is because they paid J Crypto and a couple other influencers to market not only this project, but I think a lot of people have been buying these just so they can get into the Season 2. So I personally think that even though I like this project, I'm not 100% confident on how Season 2 is going to be. I really think 50 ADA was a little bit too much for this project as far as the short term goes. Only get into this project if you're willing to hold it long term and wait until that game comes out. If they do deliver on that game and if they do deliver on all this stuff, then I think that these heroes are going to be a lot more money in the future. But I think as far as the short term goes, you're going to have individuals buy 20 of these, 30 of these, 50 of these, 100 of these, and really unload them on the market. I'm kind of surprised that they're charging 50. Maybe I'm just tripping and, right before the release, these go to 100, and then maybe after the release, these dip down a little bit and Season 2 does really well. But I'm personally only going to be getting a couple of these and seeing how the secondary reacts. I think this might be a situation where you might be better off on waiting just to see how the secondary does and then maybe buying a couple really good snipes rather than going in on the mint. But that's just my opinion. If you're going to buy it though, be a long-term holder in this. You're really going to capitalize when the game comes out and not the hype off of this drop. To summarize the drops this week, guys, and sorry if I'm reading from a piece of paper. Usually I can remember stuff, but it's like 1 in the morning and I've literally spent the last 4.5 hours trying to make this video and I'm going crazy and I don't know how my pure determination has gotten me to this point. I said I was going to release it tonight, so I'm going to release it, but regardless, Mystic Monks, March 3rd. There's going to be 2,222 of them, 42 ADA. This is an art play. Buy it for a long term. I'm expecting a somewhat slower sellout. Could be a Jarheads play. Second thing, March 4th, we got AdaZoo launching 5,000. We have no idea what the price is going to be, but these OG ones are going to be important in the play to earn game that's coming out in 2 months. I'm probably going to, sit out on this one and see how the secondary does. Maybe pick one up before the game's coming out because I know hype is going to build up. And, maybe if you can get some of the smaller wild lacies, you might be able to make some money. Also on the 4th, we have Cardano Croc Club. That is a release that I'm going to be going for. Most of these will go to current Croc holders, about 7,700 of them if everyone mints, which everyone should, and then that remaining 2,300 will be public. I personally think that's a buy, and I'm going to be buying as many as I can. Now, the next thing that we've got going on is we've got those Nifties on the March 5th, 60 ADA, 8,800 of them. I really like the art. I like the utility they're going to do. They've done a good job marketing. I think those are going to be both a good play in the short term as a flip, and I think those are going to be a good long-term play as well. Also on the 5th, we have MetaDams, which is releasing 6,432 plots of land at 75 ADA each. I like their whole staking aspect. I think that's really smart, and I think they have a pretty big following for the amount of land they're releasing. I'll probably go for a couple, and I'll hold that as a long-term play. The last one that we have here, guys, is the Season 2 Chibidango Heroes on March 6th. they're releasing 10,000 at 50 ADA each. I'm probably going to mostly sit out on that release and look to see if I can get any snipes in the aftermarket. I think it's going to be a more of a slow sellout, and I think they are charging a little bit too much. I think it's a lot better to go for the secondary, get some snipes, and hold that when the game, and hold it so that when the game comes out in the future, you're going to be able to play that and hopefully make a lot more money, since a lot of people will catch on and start buying them to play the game. But overall though, guys, pretty good week. Hopefully some of these drops do really well. Always remember though, this is just my opinions. You know, I've got eggs with faces behind me. I kind of, it's weird how everything's always in reverse when you're filming. This guy right here is my guy. You know, I kind of like the mustache guy too. You know, like my whole point is like, don't trust me. I'm just making videos. Someone made a pretty good comment the other day and was like, dude, you need to tell people that like, this is not financial advice and that this is just your opinion. And my first thought was like, you know, I think most people watching my videos know that this is just my advice. It's my opinion. You know, it's entertaining purposes, and, you know, maybe I can point you guys in the right direction. But I'm hoping most of you guys watching know to do your own research, to do your own homework. Just don't follow my plays exactly. I can be wrong a lot of times. I am wrong a lot of times. I'm simply another voice that you guys should hear when you're making your decision making, or I hope you should hear. I hope that I can provide some sort of utility for you guys. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up the video. I'm going to crash tonight and cry myself to sleep after I edit this video and take another 2 hours. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy it and have a good one.